about something which we can achieve as a result of improving our mindfulness meditation. Our mind, our thoughts and mindfulness, they are very closely linked. Especially our thoughts are very closely linked with our mindfulness. Generally, our thoughts, thinking happen not very consciously. That is why we tell people they are daydreaming, daydreamers. Actually, almost all of us are dreamers. We let thoughts to arise. Thoughts are rising. It happens without much effort, almost automatically. Yeah, that's the nature of our mind. Thoughts are rising, falling. When thoughts are falling, new thoughts are rising. So that is the way our mind works. So it is not really wrong to say we think quite unconsciously. Don't misunderstand this. Usually we say somebody is unconscious due to some physical problems or something. Totally cannot have any awareness, talk also don't know. Somebody comes to the front, also not aware. For that kind of situations, generally we use the word unconscious. Sometimes when somebody says so and so met with an accident, first thing we used to ask is, what happened to the person? Is he or she unconscious? That is not about that I am talking. Generally, our thoughts just arising, just falling, just arising, just falling. We are not very much aware of that. We have no control over that. Thoughts are rising and falling, rising and falling. Some thoughts even we don't like, yet they are rising and falling. If we are really conscious about our thoughts or our thinking, how can we have thoughts which we do not like? Although we don't like certain kind of thoughts, they are rising and falling. Sometimes when people go to sleep, they want to sleep immediately. They want to have a sound sleep. But sometimes they struggle. Why they struggle? Because of thinking. Too much thinking. Thoughts. Thinking means thoughts. Many thoughts rising and falling. Certain things related to past come to them. Certain things they think related to future comes to their mind. Certain events happen which they do not like comes to their mind. So go on and on. Thinking is going on and on. So that kind of thinking we cannot say very consciously arising. Not very conscious. If we really conscious, why do we allow troublesome thoughts which we do not like, thoughts which are unpleasant, allow such thoughts to arise? We just go on thinking and thinking. Thoughts are coming and falling. So, we know, but we are not very conscious. We have no control over that also. So, generally, people think, but they are not very conscious about what they are thinking. Even if they are conscious a bit, they cannot control. They don't like certain type of thinking, certain type of thoughts at all. We all have this problem also. But although we don't like, they are coming and going, coming and going. Coming, going, again coming, again going. Actually, if we have no machine to check this, but if we have a machine which is possible to check our thoughts coming and falling, most of the thoughts we produce, most of thinking we produce are thoughts which we do not like. Not very pleasant, not so pleasant. We want to have pleasant thoughts all the time. We want pleasant thoughts to arise, but more unpleasant thoughts are arising. So that is why I said that kind of situation, I say, unconscious thinking, not really very conscious. If we are really conscious about our thoughts, we should be able to have at least more pleasant thoughts, more pleasant way of thinking. It doesn't happen. Then I can go on to say because of when we do wrong things by word, by actions, bodily actions, or by verbal actions, or mental actions, or in other words, can say mentally, if we are doing any mistakes, all the time when we are making mistakes, by thinking, by words, by actions. Here I use the word actions for bodily action. When we are making mistakes with these three ways, we are unconscious. We are not conscious. If we are conscious, we can't make mistakes. With consciousness, or by being conscious, we can avoid mistakes. You see a driver, every day we hear about some accidents. Fortunately, in Singapore, don't have many accidents. There are so many vehicles. I don't think it is because Singapore drivers are very, very conscious, but generally, I think they are quite. We can be quite satisfactory. They are quite conscious, pay quite good attention. Sometimes because of very serious fine, quite conscious. Even that have some accidents. In some countries, many accidents. Every day, quite a number of people die because of accidents, get injuries, admitted to hospitals. So hospitals are busy. We know driving needs awareness. We have to drive consciously. If we drive consciously, the possibilities to have accidents is minimum, less. There is a possibility because the other driver is not conscious. It can happen. So again, what is the problem? Being unconscious due to lack of due to lack of being conscious. So you cannot make any accident if you are very conscious with your driving, unless the other party drive without being conscious, or somebody without being conscious made a mistake, then it can happen. What I want to say is, wherever we make mistake, that is due to being unconscious. Consciously, we cannot make mistakes. Then another aspect I would like to bring to you, we react to situations. Almost everybody react to certain circumstances or situations. It is a usual thing. If somebody says something which we don't like, we return with something which is not pleasant. That is called a reaction. If somebody does something which we do not like, we react against that. Sometimes sometimes reaction is very mild, sometimes can be quite bad, sometimes very bad. Bad for that party, bad for ourselves. And sometimes somebody blame us, but we know we are not blameworthy. We haven't done that mistake or that something bad, but somebody blame us saying you have done such a bad thing. What can happen? Sometimes we don't use any strong word against such a person. We don't react with bodily actions against that person. But in our mind, we suffer. So and so blame me without any right reason. I haven't done such wrong things. I am not worthy to receive that kind of blame. Thinking like that, that is also reaction. That is mental reaction. Mentally we go through some pain. So we later also, after that incident finish, but we go back home or somewhere, then also same thoughts come to our mind. Mentally, that is mental reaction. We have, we are going through some painful thoughts. So like this, when we look at suffering, which can cause to us, also because of our wrong thinking, unconscious thinking, we take those things and react against them, generally wrong way. Our reactions towards such situations is always reactions unconsciously, not consciously. Then you may think, we cannot react for anything. We cannot do anything in that case. Whatever the way we react, Bhante say unconsciously. Yes, I say unconsciously. Why? We have to understand the word reaction, what we call reaction. Reactions happen, almost always reactions happen unconsciously. Some reactions cannot be harmful to anybody. Even that reactions, we cannot say reactions happen consciously. Then what can happen consciously? If we are conscious with situations which we are facing, what can happen? We can respond. Consciously, we cannot react. When we react, it is not, sometimes it is not very bad, very wrong, but 100%, not 100% correct. Almost 100% correct when we respond to a situation. You have to pay a bit attention to understand this. Sometimes we respond to situations. Let us say about a very mundane thing. At home, due to some misunderstanding, wife blamed the husband, but husband knows in that particular incident he is not guilty, he is not wrong. Then he can get very angry. So he also start to blame the wife. There was cold. Sometimes it can turn to a quarrel. That is reaction. But husband think, I haven't done this wrong, but at this moment, if I am going to correct my wife, a bit difficult. She is not in a position to understand the truth. Then at that moment, don't try to react. Don't do immediate reaction. Avoid that particular time. Later, when the wife in a right mood and when he feels wife is able to understand now, he can talk and explain what has happened, and he is not wrong. So blaming him is wrong. This is a kind of response. Instead of response, if that person reacted immediately, that will be an angry reaction. Not just reaction, angry reaction, negative reaction. Results will be very painful, can be bad. So this is the difference between reaction and response. Response need more thinking. As human beings, we have that ability. But it doesn't work if we do not have some mental development. If we are mindful towards situation, that means we are conscious. So when a person encounters with such a situation, he or she has to be mindful. When the person is mindful, he or she does not want to choose a reaction. Instead of that, he chooses a responsible way, attend to that situation. When he encounters a situation, conscious way encounter. So, whatever we do, if we are conscious, we cannot react when we are conscious. With or being conscious towards any kind of situations, what we can do is response. We respond to the situation. Then we don't have to take wrong decisions. We don't have to regret later because of our wrong decisions and wrong actions. Many things can avoid. I would like to tell something happened recently in Sri Lanka also as an example. This is a terrible example. Recently, there was a murder. Husband, that man married, he got, then his wife had a baby. Baby was only about, when in traditional countries, when a wife is expecting, generally goes to mother's place. You know, Prince Siddhartha also married to Yasodhara. When Yasodhara was expecting, went to mother's place, Queen Mahamaya's place. When she was going on the way, she delivered Queen Mahamaya. Queen Mahamaya married. So when she was expecting, she went to her mother's place. On the way, she delivered baby Prince Siddhartha. So this practice is a very old practice, even in Sri Lanka also, because we are neighbors of India. We have that influence, the influence of Indian culture. So until today, some Sri Lankan families still in village areas, they follow this. So this lady married when she was expecting to deliver the baby. She went to her mother's place. After she delivered the baby, they lived in some different place. Husband wanted her to go because husband was working also somewhere. Wanted wife to go to their house with the baby. Many times he asked, even he went to wife's mother's house and asked. She refused. She keep on postponing. But this man was angry. In the end, he went home, went to the wife's mother's house, thinking this time I would do either I bring her and my child to the house, my house. If I cannot, I will do something else. With that thought, he went. He was keeping a knife also with him. So he went to wife's mother's house. He said, "Get ready. I want you to go to my house. Come back to my house." Wife refused. Again and again refused. It is really terrible to say what happened. He attacked the wife with anger, used the knife, and he killed the child also. So the terrible thing is, you all see Sri Lanka as a Buddhist country. How can a Buddhist do that kind of things? He was not a Buddhist when he did that. His birth certificate may say he was a Buddhist. He may used to go to temples, observe precepts, done many things. But at that time he was not a Buddhist at all. He did it, I think, totally unconsciously. If he was conscious, how can he kill his own child, then attack the wife? Then the wife's parents came to stop this. He attacked parents also. But later, it was too late for him to see the seriousness of his acts. Then he went even very, very mad. Then he himself committed suicide. So when we talk about meditation, I think not necessary to bring this kind of examples, but you can see, can we expect anybody to kill own child and baby child in that manner? Attack the wife, attack the in-laws, all. In the end, he committed suicide. All alone, this man was unconscious. Unconscious man, not a Buddhist man. So he went to that kind of cruel actions. He reacted to that situation. That situation made him mad. But if he was conscious, he would never do that. He would never be able to do such a terrible crime, terrible evil action. He was totally unconscious at that time. So, when a person is unconscious and react with that situation, actions can be wrong. Sometimes it can go to the extreme of evil situation. But if we take about our simple actions which can be wrong, that's also due to lack of consciousness, being unconscious. We cannot make, as I said earlier, driving. If we are conscious about our driving, chances to make mistakes is very much less. Our driving will be good. If you are very conscious, driving will be perfect. So, being conscious with our actions and avoiding reactions and avoiding reactions and being or be responsible, acting in a responsible manner is the right way. So where we can get this ability? Generally, human beings have this ability up to different levels, different human beings have this ability with different levels. So, as a result of that, sometimes we act consciously and sometimes we avoid wrong way of reactions. But we all have to remember, all have to understand that is not enough. We need to be conscious with all our actions. With all our actions, we have to be conscious. Even if we go to the Satipatthana Sutra, the most profound teaching of Buddhist meditation, all about being conscious with actions. You can, because I don't have time to talk about whole Satipatthana Sutra, but I know some of you are quite familiar with some teaching of Satipatthana Sutra. The first part of Satipatthana Sutra is about mindfulness on our body. It means not just about the body alone. Whatever the actions, whatever the things related to our body is mentioned about that first part. So, especially about bodily actions, there are a lot of details. With some details, this sutra taught about bodily actions and mindfulness. Mindfulness towards bodily actions. The first part, the very beginning is the mindfulness on breath. We always used to practice mindfulness on breath or breathing. We generally call breathing meditation. So, breathe mindfully. Breathe in mindfully, breathe out mindfully. We call it conscious breathing. Consciously breathe in, consciously breathe out. But it is not for us to do it every day, breathe in, breathe out consciously, breathe in, breathe out consciously. That is not something to stop there. This practice is has a very great importance. It is to sharpen our awareness. It is to sharpen our mindfulness. It is to develop our ability to be conscious. Ability to be conscious towards anything. Then, based on the sutra, if we go for some details, we can see while we are listening, while we are talking, while we are eating, for every actions, towards every actions, whatever the things we do, we must bring in this mindfulness. I think you all are quite familiar with walking meditation. As a part of mindfulness meditation, you practice walking meditation. Walk mindfully towards every steps. We pay attention and do it. Then in Satipatthana Sutra we learn while we are eating, drinking, talking, for everything, it should be practiced mindfully. So all our bodily actions should be practiced, should be done mindfully. So if we are doing like that, there is no chance for mistakes. But we still make mistakes because our mindfulness is not so sharp. When mindfulness is very sharp, we almost automatically, it is not automatically as a result of our practice, actually as a result of our mindfulness practice, we learn, gradually we learn to do everything consciously, not unconsciously. Then we won't make mistakes. At least, even if we make mistakes, will be less and less with the development of mindfulness. So don't take mindfulness lightly. Mindfulness, breathing, practicing mindfulness with the breathing means we do it consciously. Breathe in consciously, breathe out consciously. Then consciously we watch sensations related to breathing. Then we practice consciousness, we practice awareness towards our feelings consciously. So in that way, every aspect related to us, we learn to do consciously. That is the important thing, important aspect of mindfulness meditation. It gives us the ability to do everything consciously and keep us away from wrong things. Instead of making mistakes, we do everything in a responsible manner. So these are the things I wanted to say today. Do you have anything to ask? Mr. Richard may have a lot of things to ask. No? Today not ready. Yes, very simple. Very, very simple. That is why we have difficulties to know it. You know, I always say, simple things are more difficult. If things are not simple, easier. Simple means, your question is very, very meaningful. How can we get that ability? certainly it will never come automatically. And we never know when we will have that ability. But we ask you to practice. Watch your breath consciously. Watch your breath consciously. Then any sensations linked with your in-breath and out-breath, aware of that. Notice it. Do it, do it, do it. When you do, your consciousness becomes sharper and sharper. When consciousness, this mindfulness, very difficult to separate these two words, conscious and mindfulness. When we mindfully breathe, that means conscious breathing, consciously breathe. When we have this ability, automatically awareness comes. So we are conscious with whatever the things we do. When I say this, I remember a Zen story. In that story, the Zen master is a very, very funny person. Usually Zen masters are very funny people. So, a young man went to him and said, "Sir, I want to learn meditation, also actually mindfulness." And he said, "You are very young, you cannot, I see you cannot practice." He said, No, I can. But Zen master refused. So he went, but came again. Like this many times he came. Then in the end Zen master said, "Okay, I take you as a disciple." So asked him to go and meditate, showed the place, showed the place to meditate, hall, empty hall. Asked him to meditate, watch his breath, mindfully breathe. Then master very quietly go. Zen masters, some Zen masters have a stick. He goes with the stick very, very quietly, hit very hard. So he turn, take the pain, still practice. Then he thought, this man, my master, is a very cruel person. He has no mercy. But he committed to practice, he do the practice. Then he think today he wanted to do a test. Tomorrow he won't do it. So I will do tomorrow also. Tomorrow also when he was practicing, Zen master come, hit so hard, harder than first day. Then so painful. Then he did not know what to do also. Thought, never mind, he may stop. Third day it won't happen. It happened. So every day when he was practicing, Zen master come, he does not know, because he was so soft way he walked towards him and hit. But one day, what happened? He was meditating in the same way. Zen master came and hit, but he moved, totally moved, and Zen master failed. Zen master could not attack. Then Zen master say, now I really accept you as my disciple. you have really progressed. So this man closed his eyes, quietly meditate. But from that day onwards, even his master, great master, could not hit him with the stick. His awareness was so profound. He feel somebody is attacking. So if I don't say, I am not asking you to follow Zen Master's system. I am not following that also. But one can achieve that refined development of mindfulness. Very slight thing, very subtle thing also can feel, can know, aware of that. So that is the only way. Practice. Practice and practice. I think another Zen master also asks about meditation, say, practice and practice. That's the only way. No other way. So one day you will be able to achieve that refined mindfulness. Then I will bring a stick. So there are no other shortcuts or other ways. But generally some meditation teachers can tell certain things, you will achieve some results by doing this and that. But honestly speaking, there are no shortcuts or crooked ways to achieve anything. You have anything? No? I'll see you hear very different things in this meditation session. Yes. Not consciously, unconsciously. Unconscious means here, it is not like a madman is unaware of what is he doing. But at that moment, this man was mad with anger. Just somebody due to certain bodily condition or something, brain problems, become mad and unaware of most of the things he is doing, and ordinary man get very angry and become unaware of the seriousness of his actions. These two are two different. So his anger was so strong, he did it with so much anger, so it had a very cruel thoughts. He did those actions with very, very cruel thoughts. As a result of doing those things with cruel thoughts, he acquired a very low level of karma, very, very bad karma. So, results will be very serious also due to that. Very serious. But when you go to the law, sometimes, but not this kind of cases. In some cases, I think I'm not a lawyer, so I should not talk actually about this. But lawyers argue. Some cases, this man was provoked by something done by the victim. As a result of that, he was not very aware of what he was doing. Like that, some lawyers argue. So, for such cases, I think if it is a murder case, sometimes the person who did it won't get the highest penalty, highest punishment, capital punishment. Instead of that, maybe life sentence, sometimes 15 years, 20 years, sometimes happen. But I'm not very good for explaining it. It can happen when lawyers prove it. I know some cases like that. One gentleman, this man was, but all cases I bring from Sri Lanka, then you may get frightened to go to Sri Lanka also. You may think Sri Lanka people are very cruel. This is also a murder case. This man is a driver. Good man. I knew this man. Sometimes I have gone to certain places by his car. He drove me. Very kind to me also. I was quite young, novice monk that time. And he is very honest, quite nice man, kind-hearted to us. Then at that time he was young also. Then he married. But his wife, I don't know, according to the story, wife was not a very good lady. She had relationship with another man. So wife got 3 children. Even that, she continued the relationship with another man. So, one day when this man finished his driving, left the car in the owner's house and went home, so he found that man in his house. So he suspect something. That man also ran. He ran after the man with a knife, attacked the man and killed. So this driver was arrested. The case took quite a long time, but in the end, he came out with a lesser punishment, lesser punishment. I think only for a few years he had to go to the jail, because lawyers proved he was very badly provoked with that situation. Under that situation, he could not control himself and he killed that man. But the cruelty of the action is not less. If we take it as a karma, same type of karma, killing somebody or taking somebody's life is a very cruel act. In front of the karma, he will receive same type of results. But in the law, come to the law, lawyers can argue about the situation, and he needs some kind of sympathy also from the law, because he was a good man, but under that situation, he lost his awareness totally. He was unconscious, so reacted unconsciously and did a very cruel action. I think we can stop here, huh?